have a problem with cooking alone without videoing. I just have stuff in my head that I'd rather be saying than just cooking. Ew. Um, there was a Fox polling that said that 52% of voters weren't happy with Trump, and Trump got mad at them, saying Fox polling can't be trusted. And I don't even know if that was this year. I think it might have been as far back as last year. Um, but yeah, that's been a thing for a minute. Um, they're starting two things that are popping out to me today. They're apparently full ass planning. The Department of Treasury, I guess, is going to print coins, mint coins with Trump's picture on them, Trump's face, and obviously like all the deploying National Guards, right? Like California and Texas going to what Chicago and Portland feels really bonkers, and apparently Trump is like, well, we federalized them like back in the day, and so that's why it's like not conflicting with the judge's order, and it's all really bonkers, and we're zip tying children, literally zip tying children. Um, but the other thing that jumped out to me today, there was the minting coins, and then there was the threat of no back pay for federal employees. And so Trump is trying to make it like, well, I'm stepping back to say Bernie Sanders is quoting figures from, I forget where, but I've looked myself and they were reputable. I'd come across the figures before I heard it from Bernie. 50,000 Americans will die every year needlessly just from these healthcare changes. And so basically Trump is going to say like, okay, well, these TSA agents are all going to start quitting. Like nobody's going to be able to fly in or out if these Democrats don't agree to let 50,000 people die every year moving forward. And oh, the Democrats need to open up the government. That's not bipartisan. That's not how it works. And I still can't remember who it was where the guy was like, you have no idea of the beast you've unleashed or awakened or something, saying like, yeah, now that the shutdown's in effect, like it's bonkers. And Trump is saying like, yeah, I had to shut it down and these are all the things I have to do to get the things done. Like, I don't know what y'all want me to do. And it's like, we want you to consider your oath to the Constitution. Apparently ICE has shot a man, but what I had heard was there was a woman like allegedly blocking him with her car, blocking ICE in with her car. I have seen a video of and this one wasn't in the US. I think it was somewhere like London, of protesters protecting another protester who was getting arrested for being there. They basically just like all surrounded her and kind of like anted her away, right? In like a little penguin huddle. Sorry, buddy, that's fine, babe. And there's a lot of people in the UK, old fucking people. And I mean that with all due respect because these frail bodies are letting themselves be carried. Hold on. Butter, leave it, babe. That's too much. They're just being carried off. And this one woman had tears in her eyes. She was like, I'm really quite frightened. And she's like holding, I think she was there with her husband, holding his hand. And they were, yeah, getting carried off by police. It's all a lot. Obviously, we know that Chicago, like, guys jumped off of plane, like, rappelled down from helicopters, even though they're way over budget. And to my understanding, that's like the reason or a big part of the reason that there's a government shutdown right now is because Trump wanted to do his ICE thing. And so there's no money for healthcare now. Like, oh, sorry, we spent it on zip ties for the children who got pulled out of their bed naked. I don't know if the naked children and the zip tied children were one and the same, but there were naked children pulled out of their beds just out there. And there were also zip tied children. And don't even get me started, like, talking about naked children, like, in relation to Trump. Like, of course, Trump doesn't care if there's naked kids in public. He prefers it. Let's just put that out there. That is apparently also a big piece of the government shutdown is there would have been enough votes to release the Epstein files. We're waiting on one woman to be able to get in there and be like, well, yeah, give us this news. So she hasn't been sworn in yet, right? I think it's a House Representative. Mike Johnson is like, I don't have to do it. I don't know if he can during a shutdown. I admit, I haven't looked into that. But once the shutdown stops, like, the Epstein files are going to get released and 50,000 people are going to start dying every year from the loss of healthcare access. Like, I don't see both of those things happening. We know that Diane Goodstien, September 5th, I think it was, I looked it up, came out against Trump, ruled saying, I can't remember now, something about the deportations, I think, or maybe using military against U.S. citizens. But she had already reported that she'd been receiving death threats. And then now her son is in the hospital, I think, still, from injuries from the house fire that just happened. So I know correlation, causation, whatever, but that's some funky ass coincidence. There's a protest October 18th. I'm going. Trump is talking about the enemy from within. If you're Antifa means anti-fascist. He's saying if you're Antifa, we're coming for you. So yeah, everyone go on the 18th to a protest near you. If there's not one, then form one. And there's a genocide going on. Greta Thunberg was allegedly tortured. She physically looks fine, but apparently she was made to kiss the Israeli flag and put in a cell with bugs, and their food had bugs, and the treatment was horrendous. And the water that they were being sprayed with is apparently kind of a new, war tactic. It's skunk water. It's super smelly. It might be sewage water. They were giving the flotilla members hypothermia with it. The whole thing is bonkers. The whole thing is bonkers. And people tell you about that we're on the beginning of a civil war. I think those people are just like, want to be Jerry Springer cast members still. Like, I get it. I'm not saying that I'm not aware that there are assassinations and that Oklahoma is putting a Bible. They sent a Bible to a history teacher with a piece of a Lee Greenwood lyric and like a fake signature, like his alleged signature printed on there. Pieces of the Constitution, but not all of it. All in the same Bible. Like, here's the Word of God. Where's the Lee Greenwood page, you ask? It's right here in the Bible. So that's Turning Point. That's what they're doing in Oklahoma. I know there was some ruckus with their superintendent. Like, I'm not sure what was happening there. If he got fired for trying to push Turning Point. Anyways, should be crazy. But Greta is apparently safe. And the flotilla movement, it's happening. There's now boats coming in from, I know Turkey was joining in, and it's been international, I think, the whole time. But the flotillas are becoming an issue, and countries are going to have to start saying, hey, stop fucking with our citizens. They're legally allowed to go here. People want to say, oh, the UN is, like, when I say people, I'm kind of thinking of one person online today who could have been a troll, or a bot. The UN is BS. Like, how do you intend to manage international issues? Okay.